Happy Sunday, everybody, and to all the dads, happy Father's Day to you. It's a little chat in Romi the Romahome, and of course I've got my mug of tea. Perfect opportunity to have a chat with you all. I put my tea down here. These very handy tables. I thought today, because I haven't done a video now for almost a week, and I've been trying to do more regular videos on this channel. But as you know, or you may not if you haven't followed me before, I've been away in Romi for 11 nights and I got back on Friday. I had an amazing time, I really did. I travelled from my home in Bridgend, South Wales, and just kind of followed my nose. My ultimate destination was to get to Brighton for my 59th birthday, which I've had. I am now 59. And en route, I visited Stonehenge, which was gorgeous. I went down to the New Forest and had a night in Worthing. Now, somebody in the comments has said, maybe less chat, let's see where you are. And I get that. And that is the sort of content I've made much earlier on this channel. It was more of a travel and camper van vlog thing, and I'm trying to move away from that. I think there are so many really good van channels that do sort of places to visit, and I wanted this channel now to move more towards the place I'm in my life now, and it's not always about travel. Romi, my camper van, does play a big part in my life. But my life is essentially being, 59 now, left the corporate world. As for those of you who do want to see the travels, what I'm going to do, I am going to talk a little bit about this channel going forward as well. I think at the moment what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep the long videos, chats like this, talking about my life and sort of what I've discovered, hoping it's up to help to others maybe who are thinking of getting out of the rat race, the matrix, whatever you want to call it. I call it working for a boss. And I think what I will do for the travel aspects is, because I mostly film vertical when I'm visiting places, I will do short videos of the travels. And we'll see how it goes. I can always adapt and change this channel. But for now, I really for now want to concentrate on this idea of retirement at 59 and what it means to me. And I should also add that I'm in Romi, but I'm on my mother's driveway. I'm not anywhere away at the moment. But as I say, it's Sunday today. I got home on Friday. I had my grandson Friday night, and then he and his mum, my daughter, went away in their camper van for the weekend. They're having a gorgeous time. And I've been feeling a little bit, down the last 2 days. Not sad, I haven't been sad, but just listless, not wanting to do, and there were things that needed doing. One of which was sorting Romi out. I did manage to do that, but there were still lots of things to put back in, shopping, etc. And I just found myself scrolling a lot, getting caught up in the things I talked about on one of my previous videos, which was news, Facebook, and just wasting time and dozing and just feeling really tired and no energy and no motivation. And it lasted 2 days. I'm feeling much better today. I've got up fairly early this morning. I've washed and swept the patio. I did the shopping yesterday eventually, and I think it's probably the result of having such a lovely time in Romi for 11 days travelling, having that little routine of me and Teddy. It's a tiny space really, but just the routine of getting into that over the course of 9 days. was so lovely. And I think because the lifestyle in Romi when I'm away is so simple, you know, the choice of clothes I have is so few, the meals I cook are so simple, or rather not cook, just put together. It really made me feel so relaxed, so in the moment. And as I've mentioned before, when I'm in Romi, even though I'm not hiking miles because, well, somebody's drilling in the background, apologies for that. Teddy doesn't really walk too far, although we were out a couple of times a day on short little walks. I still feel much closer to the outside world. And as I said, a lot of the time I was parked up in supermarket car parks, but just observing more. And I noticed coming home to my mother's house, in the four walls, I had my grandson, which was lovely, but once he went, I'm looking at the same walls and back in that, oh, I need to paint that wall, oh, I need to sort this out, oh, I need to... And I was feeling so overwhelmed by all of it all. In the end, I did nothing. And I was just like, oh, I really can't be bothered to do that. And so I started scrolling, and the end result of 2 days of doing that, by last night, I'd done the basics. I'd gone to the shops and I'd made my tea. I'd done the basics, but I was conscious that there was a lot of my days that were wasted. Now, not, by the way, that I feel I must be productive all day, every day, and optimizing everything. That is definitely not the life I want. But the contrast with being in the house and slobbing around, whereas for the last 11 days prior to that, I had been not busy, but just the day had a routine. I was doing things, and it was so gentle and lovely, and there was a different view outside my window every day. And I think the contrast with being home and looking at the same four walls had made me gloomy, I suppose is the word. I couldn't settle. I was scrolling TikTok, Facebook, unfortunately. We'll come on to that in a second. But not making any videos as I fully wanted to do. Every time I went to film, I was distracted with something else. And that's where I need to pull my socks up a bit as well. So yeah, it was pointless scrolling. It wasn't productive. I mean, it was amusing sometimes. But yeah, these are my lessons that I'm wanting to talk about on today's video of, yeah, the contrast between the movement, the van life world, and then coming home and going back to the slobbing. So first of all, things I'm going to address are the scrolling. I came to a decision yesterday, and I know I've talked about this before, about how I think a lot of these social media platforms want us angry, they want us distracted and numbed, and so they feed us stuff that the algorithm seems to know will keep us scrolling, keep us angry, keep us distracted. So we're not, well, for me, I wasn't doing the things that would have been far more productive, doing a little chat for you, doing things outside. And I do find that there are, for me anyway, the social platforms that are the worst offenders, and the very worst offender is, for me, Facebook. And I did a whole video on that. And yet, here I was, even after doing that video, going on Facebook and getting caught up in the so-called news stories, and there's been some horrible ones of those over the last week. So by yesterday morning, I thought I'm going to change this. I'm going to actually take action against Facebook. I've mentioned before how I joined Facebook in 2007, and I've enjoyed the connecting with old work colleagues, school friends, family members I don't speak to otherwise. And so I decided yesterday morning, I've had enough. I'm going to come off Facebook. And I didn't want to just delete the app because people will still put comments and I'll miss them. And I always think that's a little rude. So I thought I've got to kind of hide my profile. Now, that proved more difficult than I expected. So I did deactivate my Facebook profile. So I was hidden. And I thought, hurrah, I did a little TikTok video about it saying, you know what guys, I'm off Facebook. And then what happened, by the end of yesterday, I realised that I needed Facebook because I had a little concern about Romi the Romahome. When I've been jumping in and out the last few days, I've heard this liquid sloshing. And I've used ChatGPT, Google, everything to try and find out what it's not something I've ever noticed before. I had the timing belt and water pump changed recently. Romi's had her MOT and a service. I had the air conditioning regas, and I'm like, is it anything of those? And the more I was Googling, the more I was thinking, no, it doesn't sound, because it was when I was parked on a level. So I needed to go on to one of the groups on Facebook that have proved really useful, which is the Romahome Owners group. And I thought, well, I'm just going to have to post that and then I'll come off again. I'll wait for some answers and then I'll make my excuses and vanish. So I did indeed have some really useful answers, and I've come to the decision, I believe it's the fuel tank that I can hear. It's half full and it seems, I've gone under the van, I've located the fuel tank and it seems loud as that. So that's kind of reassured me, and I was really grateful to all those lovely owners who always jump in with help. So after I'd responded to all the answers I'd had, I thought, right, I can now come off. And no, I couldn't, because Facebook won't let you deactivate for another 24 hours. And you see, this is where we're hooked in. The other thing I realised that I'm probably going to miss is Facebook Marketplace. So I haven't found it as easy as I thought to simply vanish from Facebook. I've got to wait till later today now to deactivate again. And I'm thinking, am I cutting off my nose to spite my face? Because I will miss a few of the groups I've been in, not all of them, because a lot of them have actually been the source of the addictive scrolling that I've been doing. And I'm thinking, I know I love TikTok more than any other social, apart from YouTube. YouTube and TikTok are my favourites. I'm thinking, is there any groups on TikTok? And there seems not to be. So I am in a bit of a hard place at the moment. I kind of want to use Facebook for my own benefit, which is keeping in touch with people I want to keep in touch with, and using Marketplace, which, to be fair, when I'm decluttering, I have found brilliant. And the groups, I like to contribute to the groups and I like to get answers, but it's just the sea of rubbish in between. So I am kind of, I can deactivate again later today. I'm thinking I'm going to do that, and I'm going to just see if I can manage, because of course when you're used to using something, there is a window of, oh gosh, I need it. I wonder if it's the addiction. The platforms are very good at making you addicted. And I'm thinking maybe I will go to YouTube for help. So later today, when I'm able to deactivate, I'm going to deactivate again. And it's something I'm not going to delete my Facebook, because there is so much, and I've lost so many friends, my sister included, that I've got messages and, you know, things I don't want to lose. So I don't want to delete my Facebook, but I do want to kind of just filter out. And I found I have tried filtering, and it, you know, sooner or later the algorithm starts pulling you in again. That's what I've discovered. So yeah, I'm going to see if I can find alternatives. There seems to be, from the comments, so many as well. When I did the TikTok yesterday, so many agreeing that, yeah, they don't like Facebook either, but there seems to be no real alternative. So yeah, that's where I stand on Facebook at the moment. While I was doing the Facebook deactivation yesterday, I also deactivated my Instagrams, because they're owned by the Meta. Because I use Instagram so little, I never scroll Instagram. I don't find the algorithm is the same. It doesn't really bring me stuff I'm interested in. And I don't post, I always forget. So I've never really been into the the beautifulness of Instagram, and the people who did well on Instagram tended to have their grid all colour matched, and the photos, and I never felt worthy. So it's been very hit and miss. So I've deactivated my personal Instagram, and the importance of being, sorry, the Welsh Lady ASMR Instagram has gone, and so has the importance of being. It wasn't really anything I did much of, so I've not missed Instagram at all. I've only been off 24 hours, but those are deleted actually. I've deleted them, and I've got to wait. I think it's a 7-day process for it to go, so those are gone. So I'm going to concentrate. I'm going to see what happens with Facebook. I'll keep you posted there, but I want to focus more on YouTube. Now, I've said before, I value YouTube a lot. It's been around a lot longer, and I do genuinely, when I need practical help, I find a lot of answers on YouTube, and I enjoy the community aspect, like me making these videos, the responses I get back, and I like watching content on YouTube. It is more the settle back and watch videos for me. That's the content I watch. I don't watch as much shorts because I get that kind of content from TikTok, but I'm aware that a lot of people do like YouTube for the short content, so I'm going to increase my short content, and at the moment I'm thinking that's going to be more the travel stuff, possibly some other sort of vloggy stuff as well. For this channel, as you know, I've reactivated it recently after a hiatus of possibly 2 years. It used to be all about my bongo camper van, and I've come back to talk about my retirement lifestyle. And when I first came back, I was posting quite a lot of videos, and I again have kind of come out of that. I think probably because I've been away, and it's not always easy to upload long form content on the road. But doing quite a lot of pondering over the weekend as well during my bouts of introspection. And I've thought that I really want to concentrate more on making content for YouTube for 2 reasons. The first reason is I really feel that our generation and younger people, there is something in this, what I've been talking about, this coming out of the corporate world, and I've called it retiring because that is what I considered retiring. And I'm going to be focusing more on this theme for the future content. Some people have disagreed, and you know, that's fine. My content isn't going to suit everyone, and that's why I want to be more deliberate about making the page more so people know what they're going to get, really. And it is very much my experience and my thoughts. People can disagree, but essentially it is my opinion. And I think from the comments I've had on the videos I've done so far, there are enough of us on the same page that I think there is a movement out there in the real world of people our age and younger who are looking at an alternative. And it's an alternative to the rat race, as I call it, the matrix, to the belief that we have to be tied to a job for life, that we need a big house or always moving on, getting better, that we need all this stuff. That's what I'm moving away from, and I think that is why I'm so happy when I'm in Romi, because I'm consuming less. Yes, I'm buying stuff, I'm going to the shops, I'm buying food, I'm buying little souvenirs. I bought a t-shirt from Bewley. You know, I'm not saying I'm not buying anything, but I am buying less when I'm away. There's less space to fill, whereas when I'm back home, I'm, you know, feeling I need more stuff again. And I believe there is something in it, and I want to spend more time talking about that. And I also want to keep coming back to the how much is enough conversation, because that video I did, there was so much engagement on that, and I think there's a lot of different views on it, and it's something I kind of want to explore for myself. And I do find that by talking about things and hearing people's responses, I form a more coherent opinion for myself. So I find it valuable for me as well. And I stand by my disagreement with the BBC headlines. A lot of you agreed with that. A lot of you were quite negative about the BBC. I very intentional with the way I consume news. As I said, over the last few days, I've been doing the exact opposite and being led by what Facebook wanted to feed me. But I probably once a day, or maybe if I'm on TikTok and a story comes up, I'm like, oh, is that real? I'll go to BBC or The Guardian initially to check the news. I'm not taken in by everything I read. I'm quite good at discerning, and I take what I want away from it. But I do stand by my disagreement with the BBC headline screaming, I can't remember the exact statistics, but it was designed to scare. I firmly believe it was designed to scare people. And the reason, I think, was, as a lot of people said in the comments, it was to make people feel scared to leave the matrix. In other words, keep them busy, keep them in work, keep them looking over their shoulder, feeling they don't have enough, and then they're paying into their pensions, they are good employees. And I do believe there is a lot in that. I really do. Now I've left it, I see that there is advantages for people, for them, whoever they are. There are advantages in keeping a lot of us afraid, distracted, fighting one another, rather than seeing the bigger picture of what's going on out there. And that's very much what I've come to find, or come to discover myself since leaving the corporate world. Yeah, two reasons. One, I do believe there is, I feel it is needed, this conversation out there, to show an alternative way of being in the world. But secondly, having this platform is growing me an income, and I'm hugely grateful for that. And as I said, I don't think there's anything wrong with earning additional income, as long as it's serving a purpose for someone else. So yeah, I am looking at ways of earning an income, and at the moment, social media is forming the way I do that. So I think I'm going to cut this video short. It's just been a general how my head has been really over the last few weeks, after travelling in the UK in Romi and then coming home and then getting kind of wrapped up again in kind of so easily into just sitting around and consuming. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a bit more thought out content coming soon on the channel. So please keep the comments coming. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know if there are any topics you'd like me to talk on. As I said, I am going to do something on my thoughts on the NHS, talking about sort of retiring early, or maybe I'll find another word, getting out the rat race early, something like that. But yeah, look forward to seeing you all for another chat.